So you can
Okay.
use any of the journals that are there. If you want to create one for yourself, it's fine. But at the moment,
Okay.
you can use the default one.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
are moving money. Please state the date, which is, if it's today, is fine. And document type in this case is blank because it's not an invoice or a payment, it's just a transfer.
Okay.
Then in the account type, select bank,
Okay.
the column before.
Oh,
Yeah, and then select now the bank on the account number.
okay. So this is the either of them or the one that I'm transferring from? Does
Well,
it matter?
normally it doesn't really matter, but normally accountants tend to do the debit first and then the credit. It really doesn't matter for the system.
Yeah.
As long as
Okay.
you know what is the credit and what is the debit.
Okay. Yep. This is the debit that I just put in.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, currency code. This is
If it's US, it's blank.
okay.
And then
Posting
nothing
type.
goes there, just the amount
Okay.
now.
Okay. So I'm just gonna tab over to amount. Okay, and this is 50,000. Do I leave this under GL account?
Is the
Or I
other
switch this
bank
to bank?
marked to, I think you should do a second line because the other bank is the one that is going to be Canadian, right?
Right. But do I
So
leave this at GL
just
account?
leave it blank and let's do another line.
Okay. So this time it's going to be one. It's going to be one of the Toronto accounts. So how do I select
it marked as a
this?
bank? How we created that bank account as a bank?
Alan, do you know?
If it's not there, we should create it then.
Okay. I see the TD USD account, but this is a CD Canadian dollar account.
So we need to
add
create that bank account, new,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
give it a code.
Wait a minute, before you change, I thought that was already created. I'm looking in my account right now because I linked them all this morning. So bear with me just a second.
Okay.
Let's see. Well, yeah, take that back. Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and it does not seem like I've created that. I did link to TD, but it doesn't look like the account's created. So yeah, I missed that.
Okay. Okay. So just walk me through this, Rosa. Is this the bank account name?
Yes.
Okay, so we just want to call it like TD Canada Toronto, maybe, Alan? Checking? Because we're going to have a separate checking and a separate savings, so I guess maybe like that. Okay. Bank branch number, bank account number.
You will need a bank account, possibly not for this transaction, but you might need it soon to do any other things with the bank.
Yes. I'm just going to grab it really quickly. I don't know. Okay.
Okay, then go. You're probably gonna need like the address and all that kind of stuff for the checks or whatever. I don't know if you have that now.
Actually, I'm just gonna grab a check out of my. Probably a quicker way to do it. Address. So this is the bank's address.
Yes.
Okay.
Some banks request that you have the bank address on the check printed.
Right.
I don't know if that is the case.
So do I? Yeah, let's see. Okay, now it changes that to province. I see. Whoops. Okay. Phone number, the bank's phone number. I don't know what that is right now. Can I come back and fill
Yes,
that in?
yes, you can
Okay.
come.
Okay. All right.
So on the posting tab, which is now compressed, extended, yes. Then we're gonna need here at any given point, the Canadian currency, the last check number whenever you're ready to print checks with that bank account. And then the bank account posting group is to the right, the last field there.
Yep.
That will be the account that you will be using.
Which one? I'm sorry.
The account that you will be using for that bank. I don't know which account because you name them with the same account number. So let me see. Do you remember the account number from the chart of accounts for that one? Let me see.
From our original chart account?
From the one here, because the account should exist.
No, I don't. Let me see.
I do not see any though.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chart of accounts right now.
So we might need to create that GL account.
Okay, yeah, I don't see one here.
So just hit new here and add like 1032, just go down, or?
Well, you can add it, but we will need to add the account as well. So let me see. The GL account, still it to check in. The next available number will be 20, I don't know, 32? 1032 will be the next one?
Yeah, that's what 1032.
Let's create a new account. What is the name of that account that you have in there? Canada to want to check in.
Did you want me to?
Marking that account, so it's now 1032. What you need to do now is
Here?
yes, but let me exactly, and then okay.
TD Canada, TD Canada Toronto checking. Okay, and then just hit okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what you will need for this bank. Whenever you have more info, so in the transfer part, the last part of that screen, you will need to add the transit number, like the routing number. That is also something that comes in the check. So if you have it, just expand that section there. And the last, where is it again?
Transit number.
Yeah, that transit number.
see. Theirs are different. It's like 12802. It's really in Canada, this last 3 digits is considered the branch code, and this first set of numbers is considered transit. I don't know if that matters, but
it will probably
that's how it's laid out,
Okay.
in their banks. It's like this 5-digit transit number, and then the second portion of this, the three digits, is the branch code.
Okay. We can leave it here and we'll see how
Okay.
that works with the check, with the printed check.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we can separate it because there's a field for the branch as well.
Okay. All right.
And then I think this is okay for now,
So nothing else needs to be filled out here.
unless you are doing like exporting payment instructions for the bank or something like that. No.
Okay. So for
So
now,
you can go escape or back, and then yeah, select it there. I think it's the first one because we didn't give it any other code. You could change that
gotcha.
code if you want. So,
okay.
but
so
at
like
the moment
last
you can
four-
just use it.
So like the last 4 digits of the bank
Mhm.
account number or something. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I go over here and I put, now do I put in, I put in the Canadian dollar amount, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that was,
So you see there's a difference down there in the balance of 329.
yeah.
That is because
Okay.
the rate of exchange that is stored in the system now is not equal to what you have in your transaction. So we can
Okay.
go to the currency and add this new like this new rate, or we can add a rate for this transaction in particular. If you go to the part where you have the currency, just move to the left.
Mm-hmm. I think it needs to be in this transaction. Don't you think that would be the way to do it, Alan?
Yeah,
For
I agree,
transaction.
because we actually know this, we know the transaction rate, so we should just use that.
So
Yeah.
move the cursor to the left. So where you see where the currency code is there?
Yes.
There, just then press the 3 little, if you want to change it and keep it in the like a historical rate, you can go ahead and change it in the exchange rate for the currency. If you want it just for this transaction, then you should change it here.
Okay. So, all right. That makes sense. So let me just pull it really quickly. Okay. So here's the rate right here, 0. I'm just going to type that in. So I'll put that here.
Yep. And
Okay. And then just hit OK.
And
right,
then
and now
now
over.
let's see that the balance is 0.
Yes. Yes. Oh, perfect. Okay. That's great. And I assume, we would do transfers from one bank account to another that has the same currency this exact same way. It would just be both US dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You might just want to do it in one line in that case and just have it like the balance account, have it in the same line, but it works the same way. I just do it in 2 lines when it's a different currency because it's easier to see the difference if you have it in 2 separate lines.
Right. Yeah.
So if you go to the left, you can change the description of the transaction and just indicate that this is a transfer or whatever. Like in the description, you see
here.
just copies
Right here.
whatever is the name of the account, but you can specify something more related to this transaction in particular. And that will be what shows in the general journal entry when you look for it afterwards.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
If you are on the second line and you press F8, it will just copy whatever is in the top line.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So now that I have the
So
description
that
I want.
that one could be posted, but it's only needing for you to indicate the branch for each of the lines. So if you go to the right, completely to the right, you should have the branch code somewhere there. More, almost to the there. Okay. Yeah, the first bank already has a branch. The second one you will need to, because we didn't add any. If you are going to have all transactions for this bank, always the Toronto branch, you should put it in the bank card. So you don't have to put it all the time.
Okay. All right.
So now you can post it.
I'll just process.
Post on the there.
Okay. So post and print or just post?
It depends. If you want to have a printout, you can print it. Or if you don't need anything to archive or whatever, then just post it.
Right. Okay. I also noticed before I clicked, so I could do a preview of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you go to the GL entry, look at the, go to the post preview. And then check on the general ledger entry. You see there's 3 lines. Go there to see what the 3 lines are.
Oh, right here?
Where the 3 lines, the last field.
Oh, this one?
No, you still, the, where it says number of entries, down below. You see 3 and 2. Where the first line is the general ledger entries. So press on the number 3 or show related entries on top, but you have to have the cursor, yeah, there.
And then here?
Yes. So if you see these transactions, it's giving you a residual difference in rounding because the system already has a rate of exchange in the currency itself. So if you go to the right, you will see the rounding difference that is generating because of that. You don't even see it. It's so minimal that you don't even see it. So it just needs that rounding line, extra line there, because normally there's difference in rounding when the translation occurs, when the system does the calculation. So you would have a lot of all these additional lines. They're only doing a calculation internally, and if we could see like all the decimal places, you might have maybe 0.2 or something like that. It's the rounding differences. So if you see it like that and it just is 0, it doesn't really matter. The system is doing something in the back. So you can post this. You can have a printout of this transaction as well if you want, like a printable document. If not, you can just post.
Okay. So I'm going to say post, and it's going to ask me if I'm sure, and I say yes.
And that's it. So now the money is moved from one bank to the other.
Okay, great. That seems pretty straightforward. I don't know if anybody, to me at least, I don't know if anybody has any questions that I'm not thinking of.
I don't, Daniel?
No, that looks good to me.
Okay, great. So next, if we could possibly create a payment to a vendor so that I could print a check to them. I kind of, have been poking around, and I could like show you everything that I've done to try to do it, but it's probably just quicker if you just walk me through it so that I can know the fastest way to do it.
So did you already validated the check printout? Is that something that you work out with Tim already? The printing of the check, did you do the testing and is it printing the way you want it, or do you do it in your system and then you are going to post it here?
No, I'd asked about that, and I'm not sure if that print form, I know I haven't sent anything over, but I know that we were just, we were told we could use the checks that we had, and that would go from there. But as far as I know, nothing else has been done.
Because if the check is not done and you have not tested it, we need to test if it works. I mean, otherwise it's not going to, probably it's not going to print the same way you have it now. I think that's something that needs
Right.
to be tested first.
Yeah, sure. Yep, we can do that.
So, but are you willing to test it like with the live? Not quite sure if that is there. Let me ask one question here. Because I don't think. My guess is that we are going to have to print the initial checks on your current system and then post them here while you test out the printout of checks.
Okay.
So
So how would you just want me to go to our current system and print a check and then record that payment in BC?
in BC as a manual check, because I wasn't part of the testing of the document, so I don't remember. I don't know if the check is done. I know it was to be programmed. It was part of the programming, but I don't know if it was tested. So I don't know if it's working. And I heard this morning that there are changes that need to be done on the sales order, and they're not in production yet. So I'm not quite sure if it's there.
Right.
So let's do the posting here, and then you print that check from your system.
Okay, I got it.
So if you go to cash management.
I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit. Cash management?
Cash management on top.
Okay.
And then payment journals.
Okay, yep.
There.
I went here earlier.
So you can use the first one or the general one. Anyone will do.
Okay.
You have something already going on there.
Yeah, so these are ones that I just were messing around with earlier. I didn't, post them or save them or anything, but
that one for last year, if we have it here and it's part of the initial balance, it's going to be redundant.
I didn't know what this is. I didn't put that there.
Oh, then you can delete it. Probably was some testing or something.
Okay. I just did these two from today.
Okay.
When I was trying
so
to figure
that one looks nice. You need to state the payment method, which is check.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you go to the right,
that's my amounts, and that's where they're coming. I got put the two bank account, or the one bank account in this case. It was the LA.
So if that is the amount that is going to be debiting the vendor, then you need to put the amounts in positive, not in negative.
See, I thought that I don't recall filling this stuff out.
It was just added by the
system, like I was
when you apply the entries. Okay.
Yeah.
So then the bank payment type, we need to change it to manual check. Otherwise, it's going to try to print from here.
Okay, gotcha. So here.
No, not there. On the closer to the red, what application is there, like just next to it, where you see the red date there.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Computer.
Where is this manual check?
Mm-hmm. Got it. And then the branch code is correct. I checked those. And then you say I need to switch out.
Because what I don't get is you should have debit here and credit to the bank. That's what a check is for me. So you are applying this to, if these amounts came down when you apply them, it's like you are applying them to a payment.
Right.
Can we see the
Yeah, I'm not
application
sure.
for that one? Go to process
Okay.
and apply entries. So that 34, if you go down, yeah, to the right, so you can see to the right, what is that? So that 34,
Mm-hmm.
that is,
Okay, so this is a remaining amount to apply. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
those amounts are positive. So
Down here where it says
those are
amount
like,
to apply, and then it says zero balance, is that not like showing that it applied to that invoice or no?
it's which one? Well, that the line on the bottom, which is the minus 34, is applying to this 34, but this 34 is a positive, so it's like a payment. So I'm not sure if the balance we posted in the system has the right sign now. If you are seeing, I mean, if this is an invoice, it has the wrong sign.
Okay, yeah, well, I guess I'm confused then because the way that I was trying to apply these earlier was by going into, like, I was looking at each vendor, and if a vendor had a balance, then I clicked on that balance, and that's where I created these two
Yes,
entries.
and it's all right. I mean, you did right. It's nothing that you have. What I'm guessing here, I'm wondering if we had the wrong signs for the initial balance that we uploaded. Because
I
if
think
you are
maybe it's
saying,
because, okay, because one thing that I noticed earlier when I went in, and I thought, you know, maybe it was just something I wasn't aware of, but all of the vendors, like if you look at a vendor ledger, like an AP ledger, all of the vendor amounts are in negative.
so that is something we need to fix. We need to change the sign of all the open balances because this is being posted as a payment. That's why now when you're trying to post a payment, it's doing a credit when it should be a debit. It should be a debit to the vendor and a credit to the bank. That is what a payment is. And now
Right.
if you are applying this, it's because the original amounts are not correct.
Right. So yeah, see all of these amounts here. I guess I just wasn't thinking. I said maybe there's something I'm not aware of, but all of these are in here as negative. Anything that's not a zero I've seen in here as a negative.
I need to fix that then before you do any posting.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You could post the transaction without applying and then apply later on, but I think it would be best if you just do it after we fix it.
Yeah, I think we should maybe just fix this first, and then maybe that's why things were not working
Looking the way you
they were
expected it.
to be
Yes.
earlier. I was like, I know that I thought I knew what I was doing, and now something's not right. So okay, that makes me feel a little bit better.
Okay. Let's see how it looks in the.
Is there something else that we should go over, or want to go ahead and change those and postpone this, or what should we?
Well, I'm gonna go and change those. That's gonna take me like half an hour. But we need to also, I don't know if it's with this group, but we are having also questions regarding the tax area codes and the tax application and the tax accounts that have been used by the system. So I don't know if you guys had the chance to review the tax set up. I see there's some changes there, and now we need to see if that is going to the correct account.
Okay, we can do that. I also just want, I also need to know how to, I'm in the customer section right now, and I just need to know what the quickest and most efficient way to post a payment to a customer's account is if we receive checks from them.
Go to the cash management. It's the
Okay.
same as we just did with the vendor. Go to cash management. There's a cash receipt journal on top, the third one, that one. And then you just go in, select the, well, there are many there. I'm guessing these are the ones that are coming from the iPayments. So if you want to, let's create a new journal so you don't mess up with this one. Just go back and then press new. And then, I don't know, cash receipts, cash, whatever you want to name it. It's just for you not to have, not to use the same journal as other person.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you can give it a description if you want.
Direct deposit. Okay.
And then now that you are there, go to process on top. Process, edit journal. Okay. And now you have a blank journal for you. So you can now, you are getting in the account type. That could be payment. If you are receiving a payment from the customer, then where is this account type? Select customer.
Okay.
And just look for the customer.
Okay. So can I just start typing in here and then go? Okay. Perfect. So I'm going to select that customer.
And you can go again, process and apply entries the same way as you would do with the vendors.
Okay, so I'm just putting in,
go to process on top.
I'm sorry, process, okay.
Apply entries. And let's look for the invoices that you are going to be receiving. That is the only one that is there. You go to the right, you will see the amount.
Okay, so I can slide over here. Yes,
is that the one? So on top where it says process, set applies to ID. If you have more than one, you can mark more than one. In this case, it's just that one. So now you have the balance here. You can press OK, and it will be transferred to the journal. Okay. You see, this is a credit because it's going to be a debit to the bank. So now on the balance account, you press where it says general ledger, the general account there, just select in the one beside, just select bank, because this is going to the bank or this is going directly to the cash account?
This is going to the bank.
So select the bank that you are depositing that money to.
Okay, so that one, all right.
And then the branch and whatever, that's about it. For transactions with customers, you will need the customer group and it's there. So that is the only thing. If you need to change the description, or if you have like a document number that, I don't know, a receipt or whatever, you can change it here. Otherwise, it's going to just be posted with whatever next available document number is in the series.
Okay. Does this, will this batch create a type of a batch if I have, like, say for instance, I have 7 checks and they're all going to this particular bank account, and then I have 4 more checks and they're going to a different bank account? Will that
just put different lines? Yeah, no. You can just put as many lines as you want here. There will just be different transactions because they will have different numbers, different document numbers, but they could go to different banks.
And so how does that reconcile with the banks?
Because whenever you select the bank here, I mean, you should always post the deposits in the same amount that you send to the bank. Let's say you are sending many checks to the bank. Instead of doing it this way that we are doing now, I would do a deposit, not a cash receipt. So that will be the other way of working.
So that's what I need to do, because when I'm depositing checks, you know, I'll receive like 3 or 4 or 5, you know, up to 10 sometimes at a time, and I need to deposit those as like a batch going into the bank.
So let's delete this line, and by deleting it, what we are going to do is unapply it. So it will be available for you to apply it in the deposit, and then go back or out of here.
Okay.
And then if you go to finance, back again.
Okay.
Finance, deposits is the last field that you have, the last option.
Deposit. Okay.
New.
Okay.
And just press enter and select the bank account on the second line. Let me see what it's saying there. Wait a minute. Oh, deposit numbers.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. Let me just configure that, because I didn't test, but I didn't do it in production. One sec. General ledger setup. Deposits. I thought I did. Why is not there? And starting number. Do you have any preference for the numbering? Just put in one number and zeros. D, P, and then a lot of zeros. Is that fine?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think so.
Press OK now, and then press enter. Or go to the second line. Press revert change to see if it goes away. On the yellow line, if you see there says revert the change there. And you doesn't hold. No. Oh, that is strange. Yes, press OK. And then just press new again. I already created, so you have that error. So select the bank account now. OK. And select the bank account. Then you have the total that you are depositing. You could also have all the lines first, and then the system will calculate that amount. In the lines, then you select in the account type, you select the customer and start looking for the customers. Where it says account type, instead of GL, select customer and then look for the customer again. Here is the same process. You have to, no, you are, because there is, what you are applying to is to an invoice or a document that is blank. So where it says manage on top, I think, yeah, that leave it blank, that invoice. There. And then where it says manage or more options there, not all the way up, in the second part. There. Functions, apply entries. So let's look for the customer entries. Oh, you still have that thing. Just revert the change on top. That one. Yeah. And now go to functions. Apply. Why is now applying this? Because it has that document payment thing. Do you have a receipt number or something? Just put any number there. I think it's just asking for a number, but you should not request that number. I think it's because you put payment. So let's look for the in functions. Functions. Apply entries. And then process on top. Set apply ID and then OK. So that one is applied. Let's look for the next customer.
Okay, so I just put their check number here for the document number.
That will do.
Okay. And then I'm going to go to my next check and so on and so forth, basically, until I have all of my checks for that particular bank account.
Yeah.
And then
So
I'm going. Sorry, go ahead.
no, it's fine. So whenever then you are ready, that amount, and when you send it to the bank, is going to be the same amount that you are going to have in your bank account here in the system. So it will be easier to reconcile.
Gotcha. What about checks? Like, for instance, I'm holding a check that we received yesterday for an account credit where we overpaid for something from a vendor, and they issued us a check back instead of issuing us credit. So I need that to be a part of this deposit as well.
Well, as long as you have the transaction there and it's posted to the vendor, you should be able to do it. I mean, if you select the vendor, and then because it's going to be like paying to a vendor, right? If you have the transaction.
So I would say, like, okay, this is the vendor that refunded me. So document type is refund, and then I would put their check number here, I guess.
And the same functions and look for it. It should be there as well, unless it's something new. If you see, go to the right to see if that is the amount. No, go to the right because I don't see the amount there.
I see it right here. Isn't that it? 140.
No, that's the amount that you put on, outside. So you see, this is $39.50. Remember that we had something going on with the vendors. So you receive it now. You haven't posted to the vendor yet.
Gotcha.
So if you,
the best way to do it.
No. I mean, if you do it now, it will post this entry to the vendor. It's just not going to be applied to anything. Which I don't know if it's correct.
Right, then, because where would that default as far as like a GL account? Like, would it show as like, if I save this right now, what GL account will that be?
Well, this is now going to affect the bank and the accounts payable. If you select the vendor there.
I don't know if we want to do that, Alan.
If you don't want to affect the vendor, then you can select GL account and just use the account directly. So you will have movement to the bank and the opposite sign going to that account.
Like this, you mean?
Yeah.
And then just tell the money where I want it to go.
Well, it's gonna go to the bank as a deposit, so you will have that as, I don't know, as that income. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering, but I guess we could figure that out.
Yeah, you should not use the bank account directly, so it will be whatever other account.
I don't know if it will be.
I mean, if you don't want to store that refund in the vendor's card, if you just want to put it directly in the account and not affect the vendor payables, then you should have that going to directly to whatever account you have, like a minus expense or minus cost or an income, whatever.
Yeah, we used to have a like other income.
There should be other income there. You can type it in, type other instead of the number. You should be able to find something that says
other income. Yeah, so if I want to just post it there and then just put what it is, put the check number here and the amount here.
Exactly. And that
Okay.
will be then affecting a debit to the bank and a credit to this account.
Okay, that answers that. And then once I'm done, I just say deposit up here, like.
Well, once you are done, you see that the deposit lines here are summarizing, they're adding up. You need to state the amount in the total deposit, so you will not have a difference. For you to be able to post it, then the difference needs to be 0 between the header and the lines. So if you are just going to do 688 and 95, you should put that amount there. The difference
Right
will be
here.
0, and then you can actually post it.
Okay,
I
so like,
think
do I need to do anything?
just,
over
I
here?
think you have to maybe refresh it. F5. F5 will refresh the
Yeah.
screen.
Yep, it did it. Okay, all right. So then I could say deposit, and it would deposit this
Or
amount.
you can say post, and it will deposit that amount.
Okay. I don't want to save it because I do have.
You
other checks to
still
pay.
need more.
I'm sorry?
No, because you still need more. It's not only those two. Okay.
Yes, I have more checks for that account to enter. So, but now that I know how to do it, I can do that on my own time. Did you guys have any questions on this? I know, Daniel, you get some checks out there sometimes.
Yeah, just one question regarding that vendor refund. Wouldn't it be better to do a contra expense, just subtract it on the expense side? I'm not sure what you bought for that U line instead of doing other income.
Yeah, I just stuck it there for just to see, because I guess that's going to be an internal discussion to figure out where we would want that to go. That's where we used to stick it in the old system, but I don't know if it was the best place for it. You're probably right.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Was it like office supplies that you bought for the U line?
Yes, I guess it was it just says unused credit. So I guess we returned something, and then they had a credit on our account that we never used, and they refunded it. So, yeah, probably against like, so I could just type in like office supplies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that looks good. So, is there time to go over something else, or?
No, I mean, I'm here for you, whatever you guys have questions about.
Yeah, I have time. Is there, just a quick question, is there a way for me to save this? If I don't want to post it yet, because I do have more to add here.
You can just go
save it
out.
and come
It's
back
been
to it,
saved
like,
there.
It's
You,
saved.
you see on top where it says save?
Yeah, I saw that. So I just want to make sure. And then
If you
I can
go
just go back
out,
and
it
edit.
will just be one line now there. You could have many open, and then just whenever you're ready, you just post it.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah, whoever has other questions, I think I'm good for now.
Daniel, what are you gonna?
Until the vendor stuff gets fixed on the, for me to issue the payment, then I think that's all the questions I have for right now. But Daniel,
I had a quick question regarding, let's say, end of day or the following day. Just how would we go about verifying that all the payments received on either iPayments or Clover or cash payments were applied to the corresponding invoice that was posted?
Well, normally you would have the orders open until they are paid out. So you will have them like not when you do the iPayments and post them, they are already not an order, already an invoice. So they are already applied. So you would not see them in the sales orders. That's the first thing. If you have open orders there because they have been partially paid and you need to know like whenever the difference is paid, the invoice should be posted. So they should not be orders anymore. So that will be like the quickest way to knowing. If you know the customer in particular, you can go to that customer, see the open invoices and see what is open there. But normally you would see the transactions of the day and see if they were open or not. Like for instance, if you go now to sales and see sales orders, there's many orders open for today. They are also the ones that are from before, but there are many orders open from today. Those there that said status open, they had not been paid.
Okay, so for instance, let's say some of these orders were paid previously to the import, so there was like money on the account, and how would we? So we just go into these orders and apply that payment. How would we apply that? Like let's say there was a consignment payment or some sort of credit that was on their account.
Well, yeah, if you have a credit on the account from before, you can post the invoice and then apply it to that credit. That's another option, but you have to post the invoice first. Unless you are working with prepayments, because if you are working with prepayments, it's another story, because you have prepayment invoices that are kind of attached to that sales order. So I don't know how you went about with Tim on that process, but if you have the sales order open and it has prepayments, and then you can see the prepayments on that order, on the particular order, and see if they have been there. Whenever you post that invoice that you already shipped all the items to the customer and you are ready to do the final invoice, then the system already applies the prepayments to that same sales order when you post the invoice. You don't need to apply it.
So by posting the invoice, it defaults to whatever credit amount was on that account, or
if it has been treated as a prepayment. If not, you need to apply them manually. If you have a credit there just because you had it from before, then you go into the customer. Do you have a specific example that you want to try, so we can take a look? Of a customer, I think I have the original, so I would have customers that have credits and debits. Let's see.
Okay, because, like one of these orders from LA, the Mark Sorensen. Yeah, that one.
That one?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so just click on this.
You have that order there and the customer has a credit. Is it a prepayment or was that already posted? Let's see something. If you go to the customer details on the right, the Q box here, go down to see. There is no balance for that customer, not that I see. So there's no prepayment for that customer. Let me see.
Yeah, because I guess the credit was imported in not as a prepayment, but just as a credit on their account.
That's what I said. I don't think I see credit. Let me see the customer. It's 111188. What's the number?
C18884.
A credit of 5430. There's a credit for that customer in the customer card. So if you have this, is this then invoice ready to be posted? Is it okay? You want to apply to that credit?
Okay. Yeah, because this order, was one of the orders that was finalized prior to the import, but I guess the payment was never applied to that open order. That's why it came in as a credit and as an open order.
Okay, so you can go into the invoice and post it, and then we can apply them up to the application on the customer. Go to the order there. If it's ready and if it's good, if you have everything already done with this, you can post it. If it's calculated correctly, if it has everything, no tax, so you can post it.
And Rosa, is this one where like we ported over an open sales order? Was it in accounts receivable?
Well, you put this one, but it's not part of the open balances, because what you have in the open balance is the payment.
Okay.
So if we post this now and we apply it to the customer credit that is there, then the customer will have zero balance, but the two entries will be in the system.
Okay, so in this case, we had a customer with a positive accounts receivable balance of $54.30.
Well, it was not accounts, it was a credit.
Okay, so this was a credit.
Yeah, as part of the initial balance, I received a credit in that account, so it's there posted as a credit. Now, when you post this
Open sales
order, it's going to be applied to that credit.
Okay, got it.
Because what we're looking at right here, this is just an open sales order right now, right? In the system?
Yes, it's an open sales order.
Okay. So I post.
Ship and invoice.
Oh, ship and invoice? Okay.
Yeah, because that order is already,
it's already gone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
The customer, the tax group code. Is this invoice taxable? I don't.
Daniel, do you know if it was taxable?
Let me double check.
Or if this was already with tax, is the 5430 the total out of the old system with tax already possibly?
So that was an out-of-state order, so there was no tax.
So it must be marked as taxable now. We need to take that mark out. So go to the invoice details and just take the mark that says taxable to non-taxable. Where it says invoice details, down to the bottom, the last, yeah, there. Go there and see if you see that mark that says, that's marked, the blue one that says tax liable. We need to, that one, just tick it so it's not taxable anymore. And then now let's try to post it. Just because you have a value of the tax group, just press, yeah, just escape and go to the lines. Let's see which one of the lines doesn't have one. On the lines where you have the items. Move to the right a little bit. No, it's fine. That one that has, yeah, that one.
So non-taxable?
It doesn't matter because the whole invoice is going to be non-taxable anyways.
Okay, so do I need to change this one as well?
And then you can post it. What is it now?
Oh, the tax jurisdiction, this? Out of state?
That one is not set up. That is one of the things that is there that you did some new area codes are not set up, so it's asking for additional information. If it's not taxable, I would just leave tax area code and everything blank, because it's asking for the group because you have the area and you have the area and it's not. So just take everything out and then it should not ask for anything, but you have to take the group out too, the non-taxable.
Okay.
Just leave it blank. Let's see if that works. Otherwise, we're gonna have to state an account even if it doesn't post anything. Yep,
Okay. Do
that
I
is
want
posted.
to open this? Okay, so I say
I
yes.
don't think so. If you wanna see it,
Oh,
you can
okay.
see it, but
It-
that is the
already
invoice
posted.
as it was posted. So now you can just go out and let's go to the customer and apply that those two entries. So go to sales, on top, customers, the first option now, and let's look for that customer.
Was it Dave or which one was it? I
It was
can't
Mark.
even remember.
Mark, the last
Oh,
one.
Mark,
The last-
yeah.
Yeah.
So that one,
We could also like just have a split screen open too, so we wouldn't have to go back and forth.
you mean the customer screen?
Yeah, exactly. So I guess we'd have one tab of one screen and one tab of another.
Yeah, that makes sense. So now that you're on the customer screen, go to more options on there and related, that one. And then you have history. On the history, you will have all the entries from your customer in the ledger entries, and then you can apply them, manually apply them. Yes, now you have the invoice and you have the payment. So you can, on the, where is this process on top? Process, apply entries. And then now you can say process and on top. Process, set applies ID, and now that's going to be posted. So go to process again, now that you have the amount, and then post application, the second option.
Today's date?
Whatever day you want for the application to take effect.
Okay. So now his
Now-
account shows his balance to you.
0. That customer then now has balance 0.
So, okay, yep, balance to you. Okay, got it.
So if you have the same situation with vendors, you can also do the same, that you have a payment there or a refund and you want to apply to an invoice. You can also go to the history of the documents and just do the application there manually.
Is this also the screen where I would go in if a customer calls and says, you know, how much do I owe on my account, or what invoices do I have open? I would just come here.
Well, if you want to do that, you can go to the customer and just either see the balance there, and whenever you press on the balance, you will see the different transactions that compose that amount. So you will have all the invoices there. That will be the simplest way. But if you have like many, you can just print a statement for that vendor, that customer.
Okay.
And then you will have a detail.
If they want like a copy of their invoice or something, We can
You
print
can
it from here.
you can reprint invoices all the time. Doesn't you have no limitation to print it, reprinting the
Right.
invoice.
Or email, I assume.
When you
Like
print
this?
it, you can send it instead of when you have the option of printing, you can send it on the email.
Got it. Okay.
So if you see that invoice, for instance, you can just print it, and when the printing option opens, there's an option to print, to preview, and there's one to send to. Then you can send it to an email.
I'm sorry, where is the print in here?
This is the option. You have to see the document first. Go to the document.
So here, or
Yeah.
here?
Any one of the, let's see if you can print it. I think you need to go in. Well, in fact, I don't know if that one is going to be a printable invoice, because if that is one of the initial, if it was one of the initial balances, it's just an entry. It's not an invoice.
Right. Yeah, carried over from the old system. So it's going to be the new invoices that are created.
Like the one we just posted. The one that we just posted for the other customer, that one you can reprint it anytime. But this one is just an entry in a journal.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So we'll just, so any old ones, we'll have to email them from our old.
From the other system.
Yeah. And then anything created in BC, we can email from here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Leslie, yesterday, it may be relevant for you too, Daniel. In fact, I think it would be, you had a question about just the reconciliation process with all the credit card transactions that come in. You were concerned about that?
Yes. So yesterday during the call, the credit card call, how they were saying, you can just run a card here and process, and it'll go in as, an entry on your bank account. Like if we ran a card right now for $500, there was a way to send that like straight to the bank account.
I think the card is set up to go to the restricted cash account, 1022, I think. The payment that is credit card. I'm not quite sure if it's the top for you to send it to the bank. We might need to verify which account is being used, because you can send it directly to a bank or you can send it to an account. And I think the setup I saw there is for the system to be taking the card entries to 1022.
Yeah, because basically, kind of the process is that, tomorrow we'll get a report saying these are all the transactions that went through yesterday, and here's your, there's 20 invoices processed.
Well, you have that now. You can see it, because I think it's not being posted. It's not set up to be posted automatically. So if you go to the cash receipt, that was the transactions you saw there that were, you remember the cash receipt journal that has a whole lot of lines there? Those are the I-payments that you have from today. Go to general. So those are the lines that are being there from today.
Okay.
And they're all going to 1022. So this is not posted yet. This is all the I-payments are coming to this journal because it's not set to automatic posting. So you can post it at any given point, or you can review it first to see if it's okay. And if you want, you can change the account now and send it to the bank directly, or just send it to this account.
I mean, is there a reason that we wouldn't set it up for automatic posting to various bank accounts?
No, the only thing is that if you want different bank accounts, we will create different payment methods. So you will decide which one to use at the moment. So you will decide which bank to use at that moment. Because if you're sending it to one account or to one bank or the other, you need to decide at the moment of payment. Otherwise, it can be set up automatic to go wherever you want. I think this is like that so you can review it first, because I'm seeing things from December, but I don't think those are good. Probably those were the testing things that we had from before.
Right. Okay,
So
but
those first lines should probably be deleted.
gotcha. But once we,
Unless they are doing some orders there that are being, I don't know if this, I'm guessing this is just not good data, because it's even like test customer, like the test customer has some lines there. So I'm thinking this is just something that came from the copying of the company, at least the one that is in December. But the ones that have today's date, those are payments that you have, they are hanging. So we need to decide if we want to post them. And then if you are okay with the way this is going like that, we can set it up to post automatically.
So, so you're saying these are all dated 1/5. They've been run by the various locations, and they should post to our account tonight in theory, right? Mm-hmm. So generally the way that we would kind of, reconcile that is just wait till the following day and say, okay, this is what our merchant, service provider is telling us that we have, and let's match it up to what the system says. So is that going to be kind of the same process?
It could be the same process here. I don't see why not.
But
at the moment, the only thing is that we have this here hanging in because it's not set up to be automatically posted. So if you want it to be posted, we need to post it. Otherwise, you should see this information there. If you want it to be hanging there until the night, and then we can also set up a job process that will come here and post the journal for you if that is what you want. If you want to keep it there because somebody will review it before posting, or I don't know, whatever. But you can either do it automatically by setup, or you can leave it there and do it manually. This is the way it's now. Or we can set up a job that will clear out this journal every night by posting whatever is there.
Leslie and
Daniel, if we did it that way,
Leslie,
yes.
Yes. Is there a business reason that we would not want to post the credit card transactions real time?
No, the only, okay, so let me think through this. So if you're saying if there was a way that they run a credit card for $100 at Trew Audio and tell it which bank to go to, and it automatically goes there?
Yeah, exactly. So if we set up like one bank account when we're going to be consolidating our bank accounts, and so we say, hey, if you're in the US, you run your credit card and you get posted, that $100 gets posted to Pinnacle 9646, end of story. Is there any reason, and Daniel, feel free to chime in, or Rosa, chime in. I'm just trying to think if there any reason that we would not want that to automatically post at the time the credit card is run.
But is that transaction going directly to the bank like that? I mean, are you going to have in the bank statement all the transactions line up like this with individual lines?
Yeah, see, why I was asking yesterday, because if we post them at the time that they go through, instead of it being like on our bank statement, it'll say $1,000 instead of two transactions for $500 each. Mm-hmm. So it almost needs to be batched in order to reconcile with the bank.
Oh, because you would prefer to just reconcile one batch per day as opposed to like 100 transactions in a day.
Right. I mean, and Daniel can chime in because he posts most of the receivable stuff, but I mean that's what I was asking you yesterday, Alan. That it seems like if we did it automatically, that would just be a lot of entries. I mean, we would go from 14-page statements to many more page statements from our bank account.
Okay, yeah, well,
I mean,
although
I
I thought,
would say that probably the best like scenario for you if you are receiving one transaction per day is that you post it as it is now to this 1022 account, and then you do a deposit, moving the funds from this account to the bank with the amount that you receive from the bank or the amount that you have for one day, and then you that way it will reconcile with the bank.
Rosa,
Yeah.
is there a reason that we can't just run a, to your point, can we just not use like an automatic job posting at the end of every day to send the like batch of, 1 payments or 10 payments to a bank account?
I'll have to check, but we can definitely move with a recurring journal, whatever balance is in that account. My only concern there is if you have any other transactions that are going to the same account, the whole balance is just going to move at night. I mean, if you are using that account only for the credit card transactions and you want to move the whole amount that is there at night from that account, whatever that amount is, to the bank, we could do that. But if there is any other transactions that are posted to that account, they will also move, and then it will not match whatever you have from the bank.
I got it. So, I mean, why don't we designate this as like a credit card only account, and we're some account as credit card only, because that removes a workflow that has to be done every single day by somebody to deposit payments into a bank account. Would seem easier if we know that's going to be a process that happens every day. We just sweep out whatever credit card payments there are, drop it into a bank account automatically.
It's up to you.
Okay, I mean, Daniel, Leslie, do you guys see a problem with automating that credit card deposit?
So will it be automated at the end of day, each workday, or as it's coming in?
I think the idea is at the end of every day, like a batch gets run. So if you have 1,000 credit card transactions in a day, those get run like in a job at the or some type of a workflow automatically at the end of every day, and then that gets deposited into a bank account.
Yeah, but
Go ahead.
are those funds being dispersed into different bank accounts, or is it the same one that's going to be?
No, I think it's
account that's going to be holding those.
I think it should be the same one, Daniel, because we need to consolidate our bank accounts anyway, just to make it easier from a month-end reconciliation and just to make life easier. But yeah, so I'd say we would designate one bank account.
But
Yeah,
from all the branches?
That makes sense.
Yeah, because I guess two, because we would probably have one in Canada and one in the US.
So what I would
But then-
say on a meet me halfway situation until you are there, let's try to see if we can set up the automatic posting to this account. So it will be posted at the moment you post the invoice. The iPayment will just be posted to this restricted cash account, 1022. And then we do a deposit once a day with the amounts that are in the bank or something. So you see if the transactions are holding every day are actually the ones that you want to post. Once you have 2 or 3 or 5 days that you know that the total amount is exactly what you want, we can make it automatic so you would not have to worry about doing it manually.
Right.
I just don't want to put it automatic and then having differences in that amount. I want to make sure that the way you are working now will give you a clean reconciliation, because I know how hard it is. That is, if you have a difference just for one transaction, instead of 1,000, it should be 1,000 with 30 cents. And just looking for those 30 cents is going to be really, really difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk to team to see if we are ready to put this the automatic post into production. And then it's going to be all in this account. And then we can work on deposits, like daily deposits from this account to the bank. And then we'll match the account that the amount that is being deposited in the bank.
Okay.
And since you are having several banks now receiving these funds, at least for the moment, we could at that time decide to do like independent deposits also. Sounds good?
Works for me.
Hey,
Okay.
Rosa, can I ask one more before we close out?
I'm sorry?
Can I ask one more question before we close out?
Okay.
I'm here, and I'm going to just open my screen just to share. I just wanted to make sure that I'm kind of doing something correctly. Let's see. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, a lot of different things open here. Let's see. So if I just kind of want to go through any given day and say, hey, like, how much have we done in revenue for a given day? I think sales and sales orders. And then I could effectively sort by like, or filter by today. So I guess I would come over here and just say filter by 1/5/2021. And everything pops up here. And then I kind of run a report, pop it open, and I think like basically the sales we've done for today, as an example, is that the right way to look at it? So I'd say like we've done today 20,000 in sales.
That will give you, if you are looking at the open sales orders, that will give you the ones that are open and not posted yet. But once you do the iPayment and you post the invoice, they're not in sales order anymore. They're in posted invoices. So you might have some income that is already posted and it will not be in sales order. It will be in posted sales invoices.
Okay, so for those, I go to sales invoices.
No, sales and then posted sales invoices. It's right beside reminders there.
Got it.
So like, for instance, those are posted already. And those are from today. They have been already paid and they have been posted.
Gotcha. Okay, so in this case, so these other sales orders, they've not actually converted into a receivable yet?
Yeah, these are already posted. The other ones are not yet converted as receivables. They are just orders. They're not posted.
Oh, I see. So that might be somebody saying, hey, I'd like to buy X. And we'll say, great. We'll wait until X shows up and then we'll sell it to you. Is that right?
Is that case, or you already sold it and everything, but you didn't post the invoice at the moment for any given reason? You had a problem and you have, the customer trusts you, and then you have the invoice there waiting for any configuration error to be fixed, so you can print the invoice and send it to the customer, but the sale is already done. That could be the case, at least at the beginning, because we are answering some issues with the salespeople now. So it might be the case that the sale is firm, the sale is good, that you already even send that item and everything, or gave it to the customer, but you have not been able to post it because there's some configuration issues.
Okay, gotcha. So, and should the sales invoice, would that include rentals, or is that going to be a separate report?
No, that one has all the invoices that have been posted in the system. I don't know for the rentals if they are separate.
I guess
you see there's another one for posted rental invoices. So if they should come here.
Gotcha. So
they have it's probably the same table, but with a different filter. So even if they're going to the same table, it might be just filtering differently or something like that.
Oh, so it is buried in this table, you think?
I'm not sure if I should think it's the same because it's going all the way to accounting, the same accounting, but it could be that it's just a different filter. Like for instance, you have sales invoices and quotes and sales order. They are all going to the same table, but they're filtering differently. So if you go to one page, you will not see them because the filter is just with document type sales order, but they're all going to table 37 and 36.
Got it. So again, like an open sales order may mean calls somebody wants to buy, buy a piece of equipment. We say, great, we're going to wait for it to come in. Or maybe a situation where somebody got a piece of gear and they decide, you know what, I want to return this. And so they brought it back. Is that?
Well, if they brought it back, if they left without the invoice and with the item,
right.
I don't know. Normally you would not allow the customer to leave without an invoice or a document or something. But if I don't know how the treatment is with your customers because you have a special relationship with them. So it might be the case that they have, they can take it with an order and then come back if they don't really need it, and then you decide not to post the invoice anymore.
Okay, I was just thinking like something like this, because we do give terms to some of our customers, but if I look at sales, which I guess was posted today, it's
that's not posted yet.
Well, I guess it was put on the open sales order.
It has been typed in today.
Yes, it was typed in today. So this could be a situation where maybe they said, hey, yeah, we'll sell you these things. How about we got to order them?
Yes, that's usually, just from just the regular flow that everybody goes at our sales department is the main reason for it to still be an open sales order and not yet have been invoiced is because it has not, shipped yet from the vendor, or we don't have it in stock and we're waiting to get it because, it's just general practice that they don't convert an open sales order into an invoice until the item is shipped out. So
yeah, that is the way it should be.
Yeah, that's the main, the main reason I would see that those open sales orders would be in there, for us anyway. Yeah.
Okay. I think I understand. I got it. And then, Rosa, we're finding there's a number of customers who have different names, but they're actually the same customer. So at some point, we're going to need to go in and clean up and consolidate those customers. If we do that, can we just delete the customer we don't need?
Well, there's two things. If the customer has no entries, you can delete them. If you have entries in both customer cards, then we should merge them. There's a merging tool. So it will move the transactions from one customer to the other, and then the other one will be clean for you to delete it.
Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so I guess there's just like a merging.
And yeah, you have to go into the customer card. I think if you look for merge, it could be there, but if you go into the customer, you should have an option in actions or functions or somewhere to merge. Functions. In functions. There. Merge with.
Aha. Okay, so if I wanted to merge this guy with someone else,
with another,
and all of this history would then translate over to that customer.
So the one you decide is going to be the one to keep the record.
So if I merged Eric Wilson with Joe Foglia, would the remaining customer be Joe Foglia or Eric Wilson?
You decide which one goes to which.
Okay. Wow, that's great. Okay, that's awesome. The other question is with items. So same issue, but with items, we've got.
I don't know if there's item merging, but we can try. Never seen that one.
guess alternatively, we could just flag a certain item not to be used, and then we could say, hey guys, like just don't use item X anymore. And use
Yeah, I don't think there's a merging just because of the cost issue, but definitely we can transfer not the movements, but the balance, like the inventory, move it from one to another, and then have that history in that new one, and then lock the other one, block it from usage.
Okay.
Once
Yeah.
you have inventories here in that one.
Okay. And then the last thing, how do you close out a month? So when the month is done, like where do I go to lock it down?
Well, normally you would close the dates. So if you go for in the global search, general ledger setup. There you have it. Then you can, the first two fields there are to allow posting to and from. So that will limit the dates that you have, that everybody has for posting. So you do this in general, nobody then will be, like if you put here, allow posting from January 1st, nobody will be able to do any postings on last year.
Okay, well, all right.
So normally that's the way. And then when you do this, you have the ability to open up some days for particular users. So let's say you want to do this, but then if I'm going to work, like for instance, fixing that open balance for the vendors, and that's with a previous date, in my user, I can override this general rule and give myself permission to open. But I can do it because I'm a super user, but you should be doing that with your employees. Like normally you would close it down for everybody and then open up the date just for the people who's working on previous month, like end of month processes or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
In the user setup, these two fields also are available. Allow posting from and to. So the fields in the user override this one. This is for everybody. So if you do this, nobody will be able to post anything on December or any other time prior to January 1st, which is good. This is the way it should be.
Okay, good. Well, it feels like we at least need to have that in place. Nothing journal entries. I guess to just block anybody from trying to make something in like pre-2021.
Exactly. So normally you would do this like month by month, so you don't have everybody like posting future entries as well. But you have to come and then change it every month. So it depends on how, but this is the best practice is do it like that. And then you open up the for particular users that are doing any postings on previous month because of reconciliation or adjustments or whatever, then you open it up just for the users.
So if I say, hey, I just want to be operating in this month, just come to and say like, boom, click on this. And so the only month that people can post things in is January.
Is this month, yes.
And then when the calendar clicks over, then I'll hit February 1st.
Come here, because otherwise they're going to try to post in February and they're going to receive a message saying that the allowing posting date is not open for you.
Gotcha. Okay. And when I want to go back to your point and just make sure that I can make changes for my
user setup.
I'll come here to users.
Not user setup.
Oh, I'm sorry. So user setup.
All together. Yeah, that one. So you have there allow posting from and to. The first two fields to per user.
Oh, so it looks like everybody can still post whenever they want.
Well, you could decide. Normally, this is not open for everybody. At the moment, you have like the right to go in and do everything, and you might be able to be a super user. But whenever we are settled with the go live, not everybody will be able to go in here and change the settings for their user.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so this is just a permissioning that will limit. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, guys, any other questions? Rose has already given us an extra 15 minutes of time.
Oh, I didn't
just
know
one
I
quick
was
question.
showing myself here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Daniel, I apologize for cutting you off. So if we find that there's a price in here that's like wrong, or let's say it's just zero, so and we want to go sell this, we just change the price on the fly.
You can do one or two things. You can do it in the transaction itself, or you can do it in the item card. There's
Okay.
also the price list that you need to figure out if you're going to use. There's definitely one for the dealers that that is related to the item prices for remote. But you can also have different price lists working for the same product for different customers or for different dates, like different prices depending on the season. Let's put it that way. But you can also do it either on the transaction itself or in the item card directly. And then it will be there until you change it.
Okay.
And it will work, it will pick it up from here to the sales orders if there's no price list set up for that customer. If there is a price list set up for the customer, the system takes, the price list overrules the unit price in the customer, in the item card.
Gotcha. Okay. In the reverse, if let's say we find an item with a positive quantity, that's I'm just going to say like a sales item, as opposed to console. And let's say that because in some cases, I bet we got like things with a quantity of on hand greater than a consignment item. Let's see if I can get some examples.
Mm-hmm.
Add in a cost, like let's say we've got quantity on hand of like 10 of something. A lot of these consignments, don't I?
You can sort it by quantity on hand if you want.
Well, yeah, I did. I wanted to get, okay. Here we go. Here's
that one has two.
So this apparently has a part. We've got 20 on hand, and there's zero cost associated with it. Let's say that I go out and I determine, you know what, these should have been like 50 cents a part. If we come in here and just allocate cost to that item, it's obviously going to change our balance sheet. That should be
Not really. Not really. What we should do in that case is run a revaluation journal. So we make sure that those 20 units that are there get a value. So there's a revaluation journal to do that. There's a process that you can like recalculate, or you just select the items that you want to revaluate. And then whatever you have available in stock will be revaluated to that new cost that you have. It doesn't have to be zero to something. It could be that you just realize that the cost is wrong. So you need to reevaluate it. So that's a process for revaluation. Okay, so in that case, we would like debit inventory after the revaluation journal and credit, I guess, the adjustment account. And okay, so the revaluation journal will do increase or decrease the inventory account in the balance sheet, and use the adjustment account that you have in, I think it's 5700. Okay. All right. So, very good. That will be. Any other questions?
I think I'm good for now.
So some of the payments that I believe all of them that we received on the 31st have not been recognized in the system. How will we go about that?
So that depends on what do we want to do. If those payments are going to be processing in your system prior to the open balances that we're going to import for the accounts, we don't need to do anything in Business Central because that's going to be kind of taken care of. But if those payments are part of the open balances that we have now, let's say we already have the accounts payable here, the accounts receivable, and you are going to process that payment in your current system with date from December, we need to also kind of eliminate that account here, because otherwise you're going to have that hanging in there. It's going to be double. So
Okay.
it depends on
So,
if you are
yeah.
going to process that in your system now with date of December, or if you're going to process it with date of January.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wasn't sure if we were still receiving payments in the old system so we could import the new or the adjusted open balance, or are we going to hold off and then import whatever we have and then receive the payment in Business Central?
Well, we already posted open balances for customers and vendors, which now I have to redo the vendors with the opposite sign. But I don't know if you need to then review that as well to see if that is actually the current balance. Maybe some of those open balances are already paid or are going to be paid in your system with date of December. So effectively, they should not come to Business Central as open.
Right. So maybe we had like a open receivable, and the reality was it was paid out by credit card that hit on, I don't know, Thursday night or Friday morning. And so in theory, our cash balance should be higher and our receivable balance should be lower, right? I guess that's kind of the issue.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
since I'm gonna reverse that entry for the vendors, you might want to review it again and see if that is the actual amount that needs to be in, or with the customers as well. I mean, I don't know.
Right. Well, Daniel, do you think you can check on the payments we received, by end of business on the 31st?
Daniel, are these
Yeah.
Are these payments
Yeah,
that you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, but are these payments that we ran on the 31st, but we did not get paid for them until the new year? So the receivables are in BC. They were carried over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like the only thing that should apply to is cases where we got paid cash or through check, or that was deposited, or through a credit card that hit before the end of December 31st. And if it did, like I saw, there was actually a $32,000 transaction that hit the TD US dollar account on December 31st. So whatever that is, that should be applied to some type of an account receivable, and that probably shouldn't be carried over.
And the ones that
Okay,
did, we can just do a payment with December 1st entry, then it will be kind of netted. We just need to know which ones, so it doesn't affect the open balances for the rest of the trial balance.
Right. Yeah.
So my goal would be
let's see what payments may have hit on the 31st that had not been applied yet to receive.
Yeah, because I just ran a report for like LA, and there was $41,000 worth of payments that we received on the 31st that have not been, that were not applied because they were we technically got it deposited on the 1st or the following day.
Oh, it was, but they were deposited on the 1st.
Yeah.
So if they were deposited on the 1st, I don't think we need to change. I don't think we need to change anything for those payments in QuickBooks, because as far as the accounts receivable is concerned, like there was, we didn't have the cash until the new year, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was asking. So I'm receiving those payments in Business Central as of January 1st. The ones that we have not applied to the open receivables that were imported.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then those should be posted. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the card, it was run in 2020, but we didn't get payments for it until the new year. So it seems like those would all just kind of be processed in Business Central.
Right.
Okay, and like let's say some bill or something was not entered in December in QuickBooks and it was not imported correctly. How will we go about making those adjustments?
We can make any kind of adjustments in Business Central as well. If there's anything open with date of December that was not imported and we need to put it here, we can just create a new document here in Business Central. As long as the summary of all these open transactions is equal to the balance on the accounts receivable, like the 1200 account, whenever we do import the trial balance, we need to make sure that all these transactions are included. We just need to make sure that it matches whatever balance you had in that account in your old system.
And it's a good point Daniel brings up, Rosa, because like there's some cases where we've got like missing utility bills that just weren't entered into, QuickBooks or Peachtree yet. So those in theory shouldn't affect accounts receivable, payable, or inventory, but we still need to enter them in. So, the game plan had been, and let me know if you think this is a bad one, but to go back into the legacy system, enter in those missing transactions that we just didn't get to before the close of business, adjust our books, and then use that to help get us to the right starting point to export our trial balances, and then use those to build out like our opening general ledger entries.
Yeah, and it all depends, as I mentioned, like let's say this utility bill, if you post it and you post also the payment right away, and that belongs to 2020, you might want to have both transactions just to have that kind of history there. But for the purpose of open balances, if it's net to zero, because you have the purchase and like the expense and also the payment, it would not affect. So it should not come to Business Central, none of them. If you have the invoice, but you did not have the payment, then yes, you need to put invoice. Like if you didn't put it in the open balance you sent, but you now put it in your system, we need to add it up here.
Yeah. Okay.
So those ones we're just gonna have to create. But as I mentioned, as long as you know that they are there with December 31st, included in December 31st date, and they're going to be part of the open balance. That is, I would not put those invoices as with expense account. I would put it directly to that account, to the same payables account, so they don't affect your open balances.
So I'm just thinking about one. So we have a FedEx bill that we never accrued a payable for, and but it was auto drafted in December. So I thought would be enter in the expense in our legacy system for the month and credit cash. And then in theory, I don't think that would affect our payables, certainly not for inventory.
Most likely not.
So, Alan, the only thing about that one is that it actually did not draft until yesterday. Like that's the day that the ACH was posted on our bank account. So
okay, so
even though we accrued the expense in October, November, December, it didn't. The EFT didn't post till yesterday.
Well, I don't think there's because we didn't actually accrue the expense in our financials. So why don't we just recognize all the expense in January?
I don't know. That's up to you.
Yeah, from a it would definitely make for a smoother freight expense in January if we entered in an expense and then credited a payable back in November and December, but just to make it easier, and I don't think we're going to miss out on a lot. Why don't we just enter it in the month of January?
The total.
Yeah.
The total of the EFT from FedEx. Yeah. Okay, so just like a journal entry, just debiting. Okay, yeah, I got it.
With the vendor.
Yep.
Okay.
But well, if I do it with the vendor name, will that, or if I select it and use it like aesthetic, will that affect the payable side?
Exactly. So you should do the entry just opposite that we were doing with the payment. You select the vendor, you do the credit to the vendor, and the debit will be to the expenses account. That will affect then the account 2000, which is accounts payable, trade payables. And then whenever you're ready to post the payment, the draw from the bank, we do it using credit to the bank and debit to that vendor account. So it will net up that accounts payable to zero.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Sounds good.
Well, I think I'll see the rest of the info on the vendors open balances. I'll reverse that entry and change the signs. I just want to make sure that the new file is correct. So I'm going to change the sign and resend it to you, Alan, so you can take a look at it with Scott and see if that then will be okay. And then I'm going to take a look at the tax area codes, because I see that you have created more area codes, but there's still some set up missing there, like the percentages are not set up or the accounts are not set up. So we need to figure out if those are going to be used, which rates are going to be applied to those, and which account to use for those new area codes, tax area codes. Okay. Well, perfect. Then talk to you later or tomorrow or the day after tomorrow.
Sounds great. Thank you, Rosa.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Hey, Rosa, one last quick question.
Yep.
Sorry.
Sure.
So how will we handle December's account reconciliation? Since are the transactions in Business Central, or will we? Yeah, how will we make sure everything's in as far as December?
Well, we have imported the open transactions for accounts payables and accounts receivable. They're there on the vendor cards and the customer cards. At least the ones that we have received. And
Yeah,
what
so
we are missing is the rest of the balance sheet.
Okay, so as of now, everything's hasn't been imported yet, so we're still waiting on the reconciliation for December.
Yes, I mean I receive accounts payable and accounts receivable only.
Okay.
Nothing from the rest of the accounts, nothing from the banks, nothing from prepayments or fixed assets or anything like that.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
That's being worked out. Whenever it's ready, we pull it in. And then we need to reconcile. Okay?
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
see you later
Okay,
then.
bye.
Bye.